the server details.
Hi, Robin.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, I'm just launching up Tabletop Simulator on my other machine, which is the machine that has it installed on.
Let's see.
That'll take a minute or two.
Let me just send you the... Type in the server details, if I've remembered them. There we go. The server name and the password. So how are you doing? Have you seen anything interesting at the virtual UK Games Expo?
Sorry, just having a bit of a cough there. Yeah, just been pottering about. I've been watching a few seminar things. Just been watching Matt Dunstan talking about collaboration and things. But am I up yet? I'm up. Okay, so server name. Let's get UKGE20. See if I
Yes, that is correct. Excellent. Let me just reset this board.
can see if I'm way in.
So have you been enjoying it then? The expo, I mean.
Yeah, I've had most of today just pottering around doing things. I was doing some play testing this morning of someone else's stuff.
So, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a good one. Okay, I can't see your server at present.
Okay.
Just tried refreshing server list.
It is the same details I sent to the last player, so I would guess it's just the server browser being a little finicky. But I can always try recreating the room if it doesn't show up. Sometimes that helps.
Well be. Got it.
Great.
So I'd got friends only connect there, which we're not friends. Haha.
Aww.
Well, we kind of are in real life, so. Okay, so see if that gets me in.
Yes.
So as you may have inferred from the that chat, I'm a lot more experienced with Tabletopia than Tabletop Simulator, so it's kind of just getting my.
Oh, right.
I'm a little bit slower navigating around it and things.
I had the opposite problem. This morning I was trying to start a Tabletopia game, and we had all manner of weird technical problems with trying to get in the right room at the same time, and then it started. We got desynced, and our state of our boards started diverging from one another and stuff. It was all terribly exciting. Right, I will do the rules recap then. A few things have changed. Okay, so this is Circulari, a game of tactics and resource management for 1 to 4 players, set in the accretion disk of a black hole. And you are the titular Circulari, that is to say deep space miners operating in this asteroid field, and the objective of the game, your goal in life, is to be the best Circulari you can be, to be the most talented Circulari, and because this is a board game, you will be rated on your performance in that goal using points. So at the top of your fleet board, like there, you will record your talent points, and you will accumulate talent points through various different ways during the game, most of which related to deep space mining. And once one player reaches 7 or more points, that triggers the end of the game. Once the end game has been triggered, everyone else gets one more turn to have an opportunity to pip you to the post, and then we finish. And then there are some additional points awarded after that, and then the player with the most points, the most talented Circulari, is the winner. Right, so how do you play? How do you earn those points? Well, we take it in turns. And each turn consists of 2 distinct phases. The first phase is called the action phase. And there are 4 different actions you can take, and these are indicated in the quick reference area here on your fleet board. So I'll just run through them quickly. The first action is called the deploy robot action. When you deploy a robot, you pick up a robot like this one here from the 0 resources space on your fleet board, and you drag it over here to the space station. Increasing the size of your robotic mining fleet at the beginning of the game. Everyone has 4 robots on the space station, but you can increase that number by deploying more robots. The second action you can take is the move robots action, and this is the most common action you can take in the game. This is how you move your robots around. So when you play Move Robots, you have to think about how many movement modules you have. And at the beginning of the game, everyone has 4 movement modules. And what that means is, you can take a robot, and you could move it 1, 2, 3, 4 anti-clockwise, or 1, 2, 3, 4 clockwise, like so. Or you could take all 4 of your robots and you can move them 1, 2, 3, 4 onto an adjacent asteroid, or any free combination of that. Every time you move onto an adjacent asteroid, that costs you 1 module's worth of movement. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. You'll note that the asteroids are divided into 3 different sections. There are a fixed number of spaces of each different type. The central section are the thruster robots. These are for propelling your asteroids around. We'll get to that in a minute. The little cog symbols are the extractor robots. They're for mining metal. And the thunderbot symbols are the energy collector robots for extracting energy. When you move onto an adjacent asteroid, you can pick any free space to move into. Just costs you 1 module's worth of movement. The only extra thing to take into account is if you want to change which section you're in, that's also 1 module's worth of movement. So that's move robots. Whoops. And the next action is the upgrade action. So this action also has a resource cost associated with it. So it costs 1 metal and 2 energy, which you don't have at the beginning of the game, but later on you'll get some more metal, maybe more energy, and you'll be able to afford that. And what that means is it allows you to upgrade along either of these 2 upgrade tracks here. You can earn more movement modules, which I've explained, or you can earn more command channels, which I'll explain in a moment. So 2 special things to note. One is when you upgrade your movement modules, you also get to move your robots as part of that action. So if you upgrade from 4 to 5, as part of that action, you immediately are allowed to move your robots with 5 movement modules worth of movement. And the second thing is at the end of each upgrade track, if you upgrade twice the same thing, then there is a bonus talent point, the first of 4 sources of talent points in the game, to be earned from maxing out your capabilities in either movement modules and or command channels. We'll just move those back. And the 4th and final, but by no means least important, action is the export action. So this costs 3 metal and 2 energy, and you spend those resources and you send them back home to your home civilization, wherever that may be, and in return you are rewarded with 2 talent points for fueling the fires of industry back home. And those are the 4 different actions. So you can take any one of those 4 actions on your turn, if you can afford it. And then you may then take, optionally, you may take a second action for a cost of 2 energy. So if you spend that 2 energy, you can take a second action. That could be the same action again, or you could take a different action. And those are the actions. So once you've completed the action phase, you've taken your 0 to 2 actions, the action phase is then completed, over with, and we move on to the command phase. In the command phase, you have to think about how many command channels you have, and at the beginning of the game, Everyone has one command channel. And what that means is you may move at most one asteroid. So how do you move an asteroid? In order to move an asteroid, you need to have robots on the central section, the thruster robots.